Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. On our last video we installed the transmission in this chassis. Again, this is a Shovelhead frame and we installed the transmission. Next thing we're going to do is set the motor in place. Now we've already checked the mounts, they're all cleaned off. Always remember that the motor has to ground to the frame. Therefore, besides the fact that you want the motor to mount perfectly flat on its mounts, you want those mounts to be bare. You can always touch up with paint around them later. So, without wasting any more time, I'll get started and we'll set the motor in place. All these rags are here to keep from scratching the frame. Alrighty. And there it is in place. Get the rags out of the way and get some bolts in there. Oops, got a long one where I need a short one. Long ones go in the back and the short ones go in the front. Well, I swear I could see that hole. I can see it. There's that one. And there is that one. That one. And that one. A little bit of powder coating left in the hole. There we go. All right. Now it is in place. And the next thing is we want to put the skid plate on. I highly recommend everyone run a skid plate under their motor. Let me get the rag out of the way down here. And the reason for running a skid plate is to protect the motor. So we'll get those front nuts on there so the skid plate doesn't fall down. Every Harley mechanic needs 3 hands. So I'm trying to support the skid plate with one hand and get the nuts on the bolts with the other. Okay, they're on there nice and loose. And when you put the bolts on the skid plate, you want to put the bolts up from the bottom and the nuts on the top. The reason for that is if those nuts are hanging down there, it gives you less road clearance. So there's one. And here is the other. And if I can get to it from this side, which I believe I can. There's the washer. And there is the nut. Easy to get a wrench in there and tighten it all down. The first thing you want to do is tighten all the nuts and bolts that hold the motor in place, and then tighten the last 2 bolts on that skid plate in the back. That'll adjust the plate so that it's in the right place, and you're done. Main thing is, all 4 of these bolts need to be down good and tight. I mean good and tight. Motor is now in place. All the nuts and bolts are installed except for this one over here. Working on the wrong side here so that the camera can see it. And there it is. I don't think anyone needs to see me tighten these down all the way to make sure that they're tight, but that's the way they need to be. It's in there, it's good and mounted solid. All we need to do is tighten it all down, and we're done. The motor is installed. Now, I normally install a motor with the top end off because it weighs a whole lot less and I have less likelihood of scratching the frame. So there it is for now. Next, I think we'll put the primary on. That's the next video. So until then, see you out on the road.